History is the account of the events of the past. If you know your history, you will be able to plan for the present and the future. That is one of the advantage that history teaches us. And that is why you find that most people look into history and correct certain mistakes because they looked into history and build on those mistakes so that they will not make mistakes in the future. That is one advantage of history. I understand that in the past that we have a kind of history which was not so palatable. In 1967, we had a civil war, and that civil war was led by Colonel Odumegu Ojukwu. And I understand also that he was 27 years when he led that war. So today, what does that teaches us? It teaches us one thing, that the youths of our nation, because when I looked back, when I put all these things into consideration, I discovered that as at when he led the Civil War, he was a youth, not an old man, because an old man cannot fight war per se. It is the youth. That is why you see most riot situations are led by youths. Most disturbances in a society are carried out by youth. From history, we know that the youths are very vibrant people. So I will ask a question. What are the Nigerian leaders doing for the youths to engage them towards productivity and creativity, so that they will not think of all these negative vices which are not palatable for a nation like ours? I would therefore suggest, because I have seen many people, those who learned barbing cannot practice what they learned because in most cases there are no lights. In most cases they face one problem or the other. These are what the government of our nation should look into in order to make the minds of the youth be thinking of productivity always. I know of one parable which says, the idle's mind is the devil's workshop. If you have too many idle youth in a nation, what will they think about? They will think of vices like riot and all what not, civil disturbances. So we should look into history and begin to correct most of these things. If the youths are gainfully employed, I think that 50 or 80% of these negative vices will go out of them, because all that they will do is to think about productivity or creativity. those who know how to do something, let the government create an enabling environment for them to be able to assist them so that they can do such things. Our officers, in most cases, what we'll find out is that we heard of billions of naira going down the drain. We don't know where they are going to. If this money are put to China towards creating jobs and making the youth productive, I think it will be good. On the other hand, when I was in secondary school, I read about one of the biggest population of the world, China. Yes, I read about them, and I discovered that their population was so large. As a result, then they were grouped among the poor nations of the world. But today, China has turned things around using the strength of their population size for productivity. At least almost everybody in China now are now productive people. They can create and uncreate. So what are we doing with the large population that we have in Nigeria? If we can channel the strength of our population towards creativity, it will be better for us. Today, China is ranked among one of the biggest economy of the world. At least nations borrow from China. If we do the same thing, we can use our population strength to achieve might to become one of the greatest economy in the world if we start channeling our minds towards productivity. And it is the government of our nation that can do this for us. May God bless Nigeria as we become great and among the great populations, the great economies of the world, if we channel our minds towards productivity. But if we don't, we can't be. So the government of our nation, please, we are begging, channel the minds of the youth towards productivity. God bless Nigeria. See you sometime soon.